Hey guys, my name is Jason Pericone. I'm the owner of Relaxacare. I understand that Matt Justice has actually seen our video, and he's went online. I guess he's made some name calls to us saying that we're green and we don't know what we're talking about. So I think it's important for me to come back online again for a second time to talk about these things because we've dived in deep with our vendors online to investigate further. So it's important that you watch this video if you're looking at saunas. So number one, and this is truth, like this is online, this is physical documents. Matt is being sued or has been sued, or there's a pending lawsuit with Guile Group for misleading the general public into lying to them. So for example, there's a special test done to test these saunas, and they have to be in a sealed room. And there's a lot more to it, right? Like you can't just buy a $60 reader and just say, okay, high EMF, low EMF. So NASA approved scientists in a lab have determined that Finleo Saunas, for example, has a low or near zero EMF. He did a test by waving his reader around, his $60 reader, and discrediting what these NASA award-winning labs are saying. And the general public is buying into it. And because of that, that was a big problem for Finleo, and they decided to take a lawsuit against Matt Justice. So that's one biggie. A second biggie is that if you are credible, if you know what you're talking about, there is documentation, there's certifications, all the rest. He calls himself a certified sauna expert. We can't find any certification online. To be honest with you, I don't know if anything exists. To be certified means that there needs to be a document. I don't know of a college or university degree that would give out a document that says you're a certified sauna. It's funny because he says he's a certified sauna, and then he's got a list of certified saunas, and these are the only saunas to buy. Well, those are all saunas that he is selling, not necessarily good or bad saunas. So it's very biased. So again, we've reached out to all of our vendors. We've looked into it a little bit further. For example, we actually have documentation that he's actually reached out to our vendors in the past, asking to sell these brands. And most of these vendors don't have affiliate programs in place because Matt Justice doesn't have a physical location. So they said no to him, which is fine. It's a branding issue. He's selling these things from his home. Right? It's branding. I wouldn't want my own product in some blogger's home trying to sell saunas and say, hey, look at me. So, for example, again, we've got documentation. Him emailing these people saying, hey, I really like your sauna. I want to sell it. The minute they say no, he turns around and says, this is the worst sauna that's on the planet. You should never buy this sauna. Stay far away from these saunas. So, it's so important when making a decision in the online market to, number one, go with an unbiased opinion, and number two, to do your research, investigate, look into it, ask questions why. Why is someone a sauna expert? And if they're calling themselves a sauna expert, dive into it. So his words have been discredited. Lawyers are getting involved. There's a big issue right now because, again, he's saying that there's this small sample and that's what you need to buy. And the rest, he's actually telling people he wouldn't even put his own kids in there because it's so, unsafe and formaldehyde and VOCs. Well, I can tell you, for example, and this is just one. I can go on for years here, but your house has radon. You're doing tests for saunas in a home full of radon. So instantly and off the hop, VOCs are going to be all over the place. It's an inaccurate test when you're doing it in a home. It needs to be sealed. So, it's funny watching him. And again, he's making fun of us online and all the rest. But again, physical locations across Canada. We've sold about 10,000 saunas. We are a credible source, an unbiased opinion. And we know what we're talking about. And we're not going to mislead the public or push a certain product or whatever the case. It's very malicious in a sense. So it's so important, guys. I had to come back on here for a second time. So this is part two. Just to educate the public and making sure that when they're making a purchase for a sauna, it's the right one. And just to clarify, I'm not saying that Radiant Saunas is bad or good. We've never actually seen their saunas. We will be buying one, I think, from Home Depot, and we're going to do our own tests. Just to give the public a better understanding, we actually reached out to Radiant Saunas, and they're actually from China. So, same manufacturer, believe it or not, as, GDI on some of these models. So, I'm very interested to find out, because he is going online saying that Radiant Saunas are the lowest VOC, the lowest EMF on the planet, and they're extremely safe. But something like, GDI or another brand, very unsafe. So I'm curious to see how the tests come back on that. But follow us, subscribe, take a look. There's going to be a lot more videos. We're going to keep diving into this. Again, we want to fight back. We're for the people. And we want to, again, make sure that when people make that big investment of $4,000 or $5 or 10 or 20, that's the right investment. So, again, give us a follow, give us a like, talk about it in comments, whatever you guys want to do. Let's have discussions about it. Let's educate the public on the right saunas here, guys. Thank you so much.